You have to, Maze, you have to go away. You have to go away with your
Don't call Maisie over. She hits the blooming table with that collar she's got on. She'll just wreck the blooming... She'll knock the cameras over.
Can you call the dog? The dog's got a cone on her head and she keeps hitting the table. You have to go, sweetheart. You're in the way.
This is not dog abuse.
Down.
This is like the vet put that on so we can't.
She's had an operation and she's got a cone on her head and she keeps hitting the table. Go. We're live on camera. Go,
both these live stream?
Yeah, we're going.
Righto. Maisie, what's wrong with your dog? Call her over.
Maisie.
Poor old Maisie.
Poor thing.
That's so funny.
Dog.
Anyway, Maisie...
We'll just say hi first.
Oh, all right.
Let's say hi first.
Just do it. You just do it.
Hello and welcome to Haverwood Tiny Homes live chat on a Sunday. It's good to see you. Thanks everyone for joining us. If this is the first time that you've ever watched one of these off-the-cuff, totally unscripted Sunday afternoon chats, I'm Shani, this is Rick. We are the team behind Haverwood Tiny Homes. We've been doing these live chats for over a year now, and I think we're finally starting to get the hang of it. We're outside in our area out the back, got the fire going.
Check that fire. That's a real fire. That's not one of them like Google things you just download.
Instagram can see it well, but Facebook can only see the top half. But
we've actually upgraded today. We're really stepping up the corporate ladder. Like with my what do you call it? iPhone's been sacked because it just didn't have the sound happening. And now we've got this iPhone. Was it iPhone? What's that?
It's an iPad.
No, iPad.
That's okay.
We've got this iPad thing going. Yeah. But the scary part is...
stop the introduction, by the way.
I know. But this iPad thing, this is so close. And I'm looking at myself going, whoa!
I know, wow, gosh,
Look
we're
at all
old.
the blemishes.
We're really old.
Check out Rick.
Yeah, so if this is your first time watching us, then hello, hi Sandy, how are you? We'll chat with you. Please leave a comment or a whatever you want to say, question on the screen, and we'll grab it and we can answer it as we go. We've got a list of questions to answer from the week. We get them during the week. And we write them down and then we answer them on a Sunday. And hopefully there's some of your questions that we can answer. So,
yeah, Maisie, that's our dog, had an operation this week, had to get some stuff cut out of her leg. And you know how the dogs get those cone things happening? Like, you used to see them on the TV shows and that. I thought it was a joke. I thought, what are they doing with this dog? You know, he's got this cone around its head. I thought they were stirring it up. Yeah, but Maisie loves it because she actually uses it as hungry boards. So when you feed her, you just throw it in there and she just catches it all.
It's like
nothing.
They're doing tricks. Yeah. Flick it up and then get it in her mouth.
She's a retriever.
Yes. Are you a dog lover or a cat lover? You know, or both, or none? Yeah. So if you're going tiny, would you take a dog or cat with you? Who knows? Let us know. You know, these things don't work unless we interact with each other. So you've got to communicate with us because otherwise we just look like two really old dinosaurs sitting here talking to ourselves in front of our fire. Yeah, Rick's got his whisk tea this afternoon. And, yeah, so let's just get straight into it, shall we?
Crack into it, darling.
Righto, first question.
Question away.
All right, it's good to see so many of you here today. All right, yes.
Oh, and actually, we'll be able to read the questions this week, don't we?
They are a little larger.
I've done it for the last couple of weeks because Shani's been had stuff going on.
Shani didn't want to do it. Is the truth?
Shani had enough.
Shani felt like she looked a million years old and thought, I'm not going on television today.
Anyway, so I've got my wingman today. So we're good to go, and I reckon we're going to be really polished today, Dar.
Is that right?
Because if I start going off on a tangent...
Yeah, everybody loves Maisie.
We can just kick you under...
Lots of hugs for Maisie. Kick you under the table.
Yeah, that's right.
I can do that. All right, question number one. Let's go. And as we're talking, put your questions down. Okay, I've got a beautiful location for one of your tinies. What's the best colour so it doesn't stand out?
Yeah, I've actually had this question quite a few times because some of our clients, they want to be a little bit less obvious in their paddock, and they might have a sticky neighbour or something like that, so they just want to park it down the back somewhere and just be non-obvious in their location. So they just want to blend in, like a little bit camo, if you know what I mean. So I'm thinking colour-wise, there's a couple of probably colours. There's the Monument, which is the really dark grey colour. It's like a black. It's nearly a black, but it's not black. It's like a real dark grey. And then, of course, there's the Woodland Grey, which is probably our most commonly used colour. I think, depending on the scrub you've got, the Woodland Grey, from my point of view, I think it blends into a lot more of the gum trees and stuff like that in the Australian native bush. But in saying that, the Monument, once again, probably it works as well. So they're probably your two main colours if you just really want to blend in. So you do your wall colour and your roof colour, all in the monument or all in the woodland grey, and then you sort of...
We've also been doing some Baltic pine, and we've been staining and burning and doing things like that. So that also, depending where you are, that also can blend in.
Yep.
But hey, if you want to stand out, there's some great colours. Depending, again, if you're on the coast, we've got the vinyl form plank. We've got beautiful coastal colours for that. There's lots of different options. You can take our Woolies brand sour cream and onion Pringles and go for it. All right. So we just had Old Queenie ask, what's the realistic life expectancy of a tiny house?
Oh, okay. I've had this asked a few times. I build these to last because, at the end of the day, I reckon I've got 30 good years left in me. Although in saying that, my milestone is my last goal I've set myself is to reach a tonne. So that's about 43 years
That's
away.
not in weight.
No, So what was I talking about? Oh, life expectancy. Okay, first and foremost, all of our trailers are built from structural aluminium. Straight away, there's a lifetime guarantee on the trailers. Like, man, they're going to go nowhere. They're never going to rust. They're never going to corrode. It's stronger than steel. It's lighter. Probably on our tiny homes, we save about half a tonne of weight by building out of structural aluminium. It's a lot more expensive, but it's something we've absorbed into our costs. Is the aluminium trailers because we want it to last. The ColourBond steel on the outside, well, at the end of the day, ColourBond give a 20-year guarantee on the actual ColourBond itself. So they're the main things on the outside. I mean, of course, you've got your windows, which are aluminium anyway. But if you're right on the coast, right on the beach, you're right exposed to salt weather and stuff like that, you can upgrade the ColourBond, which will cost you about 20% more for the actual cost of the ColourBond. Likewise with the windows. You can actually upgrade those. The aluminium's going nowhere.
I think my chair's burning.
It'll be fine.
It's melting. Be fine. Behind me, I've got to go forward, sorry. It's too hot.
So the aluminium, so life expectancy, and because another big thing too, because our larger tiny homes, the actual tiny home are 3 metres wide, the trailer itself, so on the outside of the wheels, is only 2.5. So we've got about 250 mil of cover over the wheels. So they're already protected. Just naturally, just by default, because the tiny home's bigger than the actual wheels, so it protects all the running gear.
As far as warranty goes, you get your product warranty for the home is as per a caravan, it's a year. But whereas what Rick said, we're not going anywhere for a long time. So of course we want to make sure that your tiny home is still going well. So we'll get calls from people that we've delivered to 18 months ago, and not a problem. We'll be there to help out. The PC items, the ovens and fridges and things like that we put in, that's the manufacturer's warranty. It's usually 3 years. So, it's like a house. You do have to do maintenance on it, just like a home. But next question from Albert on that. Can we do WeatherTex cladding on the outside?
Well, the biggest thing with WeatherTex, it's done by Hardy's. It's approximately 8 to 10 millimetres thick, very heavy. That's the biggest trouble with WeatherTex. They've got some great profiles, the wood, the grain effect, the wood grain effect and stuff like that. Fantastic product, but the trouble is on a tiny home, by comparison to the cladding that we use, it's probably 4 times the weight.
But what we can do, right, is we could build you a shell, so totally finished shell with nothing on the outside, and then you could put the cladding on. If you weren't going anywhere, you could put the cladding on afterwards.
And like I've mentioned to a few people, if the delivery in itself is only like a local delivery where we don't have to go over way bridges and it's only going up the road, it's a once-off trip, I'll run the gauntlet, throw the stuff on, no problem at all. Even in the height, I've had a few 6'2", 6'3" people coming through. Can we make it a bit higher? The answer to that is yes. But what that means, it goes outside of our category of an oversized load where I don't need a permit. It's all self-regulated. So as soon as we go over 4.6 metres high, so that'll give you about 6'3", 6'4" ceiling height upstairs.
Hi, Lucy.
We'll tap into. Go, Lucy. We'll tap into the area of a wide load, which means then I need a permit to actually locate it.
Albert's asked another question. He's a spray painter by trade. Can the tiny home be a mobile spray booth? That'd be good.
People come and talk to me about mobile stuff.
Any mobile business you like.
Come and talk to me about mobile stuff, whether you're a mobile hairdresser, mobile salon, mobile spray booth, all that stuff. Come and talk to me. I will subsidise you if you want to do that, because
Mobile massage, we'll subsidise you, so we get free massages for life.
but listen, I'm serious on that, because I really want to start getting these out there, because I believe it's a business, and it's a money machine. You just start it and you'll end up with Jim's spray booth, no problem.
Oh,
it won't be
don't tell Jim's.
No,
mine.
we're not going to call it Jim's, we'll call it Rick's. No, we'll call it Havenwood's spray booth.
We'll call it Albert's, because it's
Albert,
his.
Albert.
Mobile beauty salon, absolutely. I can't wait to see one of those, that'll be great. Brett and Catherine, they want to know, if we build motorhomes, if they purchase the truck, would you be able to fit out a box on the back?
Well, it depends how it. If it's just a motorhome with a chassis on the back, we could actually, custom make an actual
tray.
a chassis tiny home. We can actually just drop it on the back of the motorhome.
Best
No
to
problem.
come and see us with
Come
your
and see
drawings,
us.
and I think Brett and Catherine have already made contact with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
I love
thinking
your
outside the
ideas.
square. Love your
Yep.
ideas. Love thinking outside the square.
Yeah.
Just ask me. I'll say yes, and then I'll work it out later. Because I'm loving it. There's so much different stuff coming through, and once we get our new couple of models coming through, or one especially, can't talk about that yet. Damn, that's going to be good, though. But it's totally outside the square. It's never been done before anywhere, and I just got to give it a go, because I reckon someone is going to jump on it.
Yes, that's right, if we can fit it in. Next question.
Amongst everything.
You spoke about the Pro-Light kitchens in the previous lives. Can you tell us more about that?
Okay, the Pro-Light. The reason I actually tapped into this Pro-Light and did a lot of homework on it is effectively most of a kitchen is the actual carcass. So you got the walls of a kitchen, because most of your kitchen companies, they'll build a carcass, which is each of the carcasses have is a separate cabinet. So when they install it, they're already pre-made in the factory, and then when they get to site, whether it's a home or a tiny home, they actually just put them in segments.
Yep.
Okay, so that part of the kitchen, so the sides, the back, the floor, the top, is pretty well done at the moment out of the white melamine. Weighs a ton, and it's 3/4 of the weight of a kitchen.
Yep.
So in short, by building from the Pro-Light, which is used in marine applications for yachts and all that sort of stuff, because obviously they've got to be light. It's 100% waterproof, and it's probably about 1/3 of the weight of your white melamine.
Okay.
Now, the reason I use the Pro-Light is because on our larger homes, 8.2 by 4.6, and out to 9.2, it'll save me 300 to 400 kilos of weight, which means I don't have to pull stuff out of it to delivery. I can actually come in at 4.5.
I'm so hot that because of the fire behind me that my chair's melting. But the thing is, I've got nothing on under the flannel.
I was going to say, no, Rick,
I don't want to do that, because you don't want to see a 50-something-year-old woman's naked chest.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
A truck with a chassis only. Well, Brett and Catherine, but depends how high that is too, where the chassis would start and things like that.
But see what we do, we can do drop downs and all that sort of stuff. So what you do, you get your motorhome. It just might be an Isuzu, say,
We're never
cabin.
going to finish today, are we?
Isuzu cabin with just the what do you call it, the chassis out the back with the wheels on it. So it looks sort of like a naked truck. And then we build the tiny home box, to actually sit straight on top.
Okay, Susan is joining us from Melbourne. Hi,
Melbourne.
Susan.
G'day, Susan.
Do you do interstate work, and do you deliver to Melbourne? Absolutely.
We've got a couple of those coming up soon.
Yep.
Sometimes I don't get to do all the long trips, especially interstate ones, because I just can't afford to be away for a couple of days. But we've got me offside of Nick. He loves the stuff. He's just born to drive. He just loves driving. Yeah. He's got a big one coming up to Cairns shortly, so that's a free day for him.
Yeah.
And I said,
Nick works. Nick. He works for us when we have deliveries. He doesn't work for us full time, and he drives the double bogey trucks for a living. So for him to take a tiny house all over Australia is a picnic, no problem.
Yeah. I told him on the Cairns one, pack up the missus and the kids and just make a holiday of
That's
it.
right.
Spend a couple
Otherwise,
extra
I'm
days.
going. I'm going with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was that question. All right, next question here. I'm looking at getting into tiny house building. Can you give me any tips? Oh, we've had a few of those in the last couple of weeks.
I think a couple of the main guys that have started, you've got the Aussie tiny homes up in Queensland, you've got Eco down south in the, what do you call it, South Coast.
Ulladulla, yep.
And then Horseland builders.
Macquarie.
They're all flat out, great builders, doing a great job. Yep. And what people are starting to see, that all these original guys, Eco would be the first, of course, in Australia, but all these guys are really starting to get busy. A lot of people are starting to tap into the tiny home tiny homes as a choice because they want to live in a tiny home. It's cheaper. They don't want to borrow $1 million. So I reckon it's great that more people are actually getting into the industry.
Yeah.
But definitely do your homework. I'm happy to. I've chatted to heaps of guys on they're starting out and just give them a few pointers here and there because at the end of the day, I can't deliver. I can't build for everyone in Australia. There's plenty of work to go around. But do your homework. Speak to a couple of the other builders. I'm sure they'll all happy to give you advice as well. But yeah, tap into it because at the end of the day, if you're going to set up a hairdressing shop in a town, you set up a hairdresser next to the one that's already there because it gives people a choice then of hairdressers.
Yep.
But now we're talking tiny homes. So,
Yep.
but the tiny home industry is going nowhere. It's here to stay. It's going to be like America. It's just going to go gangbusters. So I reckon.
The thing is, Rick, your argument doesn't wash at the moment because we didn't go to the Tiny House Expo in Brisbane, and we got a lot of flack for that. So what you're saying is that we should have gone and been with all the other tiny house builders.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of reasons for that. We had a lot of other shows and things booked. And our heart, as we've said before, has always been with the regional, rural field days and shows like that, Bathurst, Mudgee, Murrum Bateman, the ones where, our heart for this, a lot of it was to see farmers getting into some sort of secondary income so that they're not, having to bust their boilers for $5.50 and can put a tiny house on their land and get some rent and actually see some income coming in. So for us to go to the regional field days is something that's more to our heart than going to a tiny house expo, and we can only go to so many things.
I mean, I appreciate the tiny house expos are big. They get lots of publicity, and potentially we're losing business. And hey, that's cool. Yeah. Because like
we have
said,
to stick to our lane. Like what is it that we do? We can't be everywhere. We're running ourselves ragged trying to do everything for everybody, and we're in a business now. We've been going for nearly 3 years.
Yeah, probably nearly 3 years.
The first 6 months was pretty quiet, and then we had COVID hit. So for the first 18 months, it was like we were crawling. So it's really only been about 18 months around that we've actually been seeing traction in the business, and now we're in this huge growth phase, and we're just running, trying to keep up and putting systems in place, and so we've got like I'm in the office at the moment, and we're probably going to need help soon. But again, it's like chicken or the egg. Do you to put somebody else on? You've got a lot more money that you've got to make. So it's all
hard.
of those questions.
It's like even when it comes to factories, and when we started, I think we're going to do a bit of a blurb on how we started on the farm and all that sort of thing, and you've got to crawl before you can walk, and then it's like then you think, oh gosh, we've got to hire a factory now, and then we outgrew that, and then we had to go and hire another factory, and then there's just so many complications, and for younger guys starting out, I like. Do your homework first, because I don't want you to come unstuck. Speak to a couple of other main players.
There's been probably 3 or 4 tiny house companies that we know of that have actually, if you follow the Facebook pages, that have folded or gone under or whatever. So it's not nice when that happens.
No way.
But any business you're in, you need 3 years. 3 years, and you need a lot of cash capital input to see any sort of return, and
but don't give up.
You're not going to make money straight away.
But don't give up. But don't start too big. I reckon start a little bit smaller, get your feet wet into it, polish out your
and don't give up because
don't give up. Yeah, absolutely. Because at times we obviously thought about it. We thought, is there the business? Is there the activity for it? Is there demand for it? Yeah. But we stuck to our guns. I thought, you know what? I reckon there will be an industry in this, so let's just keep going. And that's that resilience, I think, that's paid off in the long run.
So you just got to know it's going to be hard, but you have to keep going, and you've got to be everything. Like we're still doing a lot of things ourselves that other companies now are putting out. We've got social media people now, and we've got great staff. Storm's here, but she's brilliant. She's brilliant. I say people when I mean one. So she's brilliant at it, and these young ones, they know how to do all that stuff. We've got no idea. Like the fact that we're sitting here is because she set it up for us. So anyway, next question: do you weigh every tiny house you build?
Okay, over time, what I've done, I weigh the ones that are definitely going interstate, the ones that are going further afield. And what I do, I start to now get a real good feel on weight and what a tiny home's going to rack up. That's where I make the decision on whether do I need to put a pro-light kitchen in, do we need to remove the deck before it gets transported. If I'm going farther afield where I've got to go through weigh bridges and stuff like that, we'll definitely I'll get a mobile weigh bridge guy that actually comes in. He brings his scales in. We actually check out the weight of the tiny home. So we've got triaxles. We've got a scales that go under each of the wheels, so the 6 scales go under 6 wheels, and we also put one underneath the jockey wheel on the front of the tiny home. So I can actually tell you accurately exactly what the jockey weight is, the weight on the tow ball on the back of your home. So there's a few tricks of the trades there when it comes to weight and weight distribution and stuff like that I've sort of worked out over the last couple of years, and now I'm starting to I was going to say not a pro at it, but I'm starting to work it out. So I can actually get a real good estimation on weights and distribution and stuff like that. So I can sort of, I'm not winging it as much as I used to.
Mark said he can't wait to see us in the next fortnight. Well, thanks, Mark. We look forward to meeting
pop
you
in,
and
come and say good day, man.
Seeing us
for sure.
Or seeing Rick, because if you know anything about our company, you know that back in March we had floods on our display village, which means that my office and the showroom and the shop and everything that was in there was flooded. We're up to 40 centimetres of mud right through the place. I lost my computers, paperwork, everything went. Plus all of the pretty stuff that I had in the shop to sell, a lot of stock, and it still hasn't been fixed. So we are waiting for the railways, who are our landlord, to fix it up, because it's their problem. It came in from their railway line, and they need to fix it. So I'm working from home whilst everyone's in the factory. We're all over the place, and we're making it work.
Just on the railways, in their defence, because there's a creek runs between the railway line and our factory, the showroom. They can't just send an excavator in there and just start cracking it open and start digging all the stuff out that's built up over the years. So they've actually got to organise train closures, so stoppages,
I know,
which takes 6 months to actually pre-organise. So
and it's going to affect a lot of people travelling and all of that.
Yeah,
so
right.
we get it, but it's just frustrating for us. So it makes things a lot harder from the paperwork side of things. So I've actually, so something that we've been noticing a lot is, when we've talked about it a bit, is that we feel like, and if you know too, we're living in this like convenience culture. And it was something we were discussing today, how, people, if they don't get their dinner on the table, or if there's something missing from the supermarket, everyone freaks out, or we've lost that knowledge of that, the farmers that used to actually sow seed and watch it grow and then get the food and all the things. And so when we have people coming through the email, and it's now, their inquiries are through the roof, if we haven't responded within an hour or 2 hours, we're getting like, well, nobody's got back to me yet. So I'm like, wow, it's phenomenal how quickly people get upset when we don't respond within an hour. And so underneath my email signature, I've now got, look, my office days are Tuesday, Wednesday and Friday. Thank you for your grace and your patience. We will get back to you soon. So, yeah, just a heads up.
People that know me, I actually learnt this in when I was doing the high-rise and all that sort of stuff, and I used to get so many emails and so many texts and all that sort of stuff. Well, back in the day, I made a conscious decision. I'm not going to respond to a text or an email for 24 hours. Because what happens is, you respond and bam, straight away it comes back at you. It's like a... I said, man, I don't have time for this, man. So now I just slow the show down a bit, and I don't do it on purpose, but it's a conscious thing, because it's like, we need to slow down a bit, you know what I mean? Like, we go back to the fax days, man. You know when you see the fax machines? Fax machines, though. Remember those things?
Well,
that was that paper with stuff you used to wait, and you'd hear it beep, beep, and you'd think you'd...
Well, these young ones won't understand, but I went to secretarial college and learnt on a typewriter, and I learnt shorthand to be the secretary in an office. So, my kids were like, what's shorthand? So there you go. Things have changed very quickly, and we're trying to keep up.
So little secret out there, if you send me a text, it's usually 24 hours before I'll respond. Probably because I'm a bit flat out at the moment. So it's not
Yes.
because I'm not actually doing it.
Cassandra said, I'd love to
consciously.
help. Send us an email and
Yeah.
we'll see what we can, if you're local, we'll have a chat. Next question. Can I tow the Bow River model with my own 4x4?
Yeah. Well, the Bow River, it comes in about 2.6 tonnes, okay? So it's a triaxle, electric brakes. The big thing you've got to look at, once you go over a certain weight, you can't just have the mechanically organised brakes. There's actually got to be electric brakes. So you've got to have your 4B's got to be fitted with electric brake setup. So when you plug in the 7-in-1 plug, the 7-pin flat plug, that actually automatically hooks up to your electric brakes. So 2.6 tonne. Most of your 4B's will do 3 to 3.3 tonnes. So the Bow River, walk in the park, you about drag it around, no problem at all. And that's a 6th berth too, so you can really
I think you might have answered this one. Why do you build from aluminium and not steel trailers? I think you
I did
answered
touch
that
upon
question.
that earlier with the aluminium. It's something we actually picked up our trailer guys back from that St Ives Tiny House Carnival. How many years ago was that? That was years ago. Saw Chris there, and he was a bit rough around the edges like me, and I thought, I like this guy. We get along like a house on fire. So anyway, we've now formed a partnership, and they're just really looking after us.
Actually, that's interesting.
Good advice.
A lot of our suppliers are actually regional, so Bathurst.
Like using the local trades. Yeah.
Sorry?
Like using the local, like.
Yeah,
not
I was
China.
just saying,
Not China.
country, like regional area
Yeah.
suppliers, which is great because it keeps the industry going out there as well. So, I saw you on the side of the freeway with the bonnet up on the Triton. You were only towing a trailer. What's the go with the flash Triton?
Oh, the flash Triton. I love me Tritons. I'll never badmouth a Triton. This is my 3rd Triton. Love them. Going like a house on fire. Trouble was, apparently the 2015 Triton has had a manufacturing fault, so it's not a wear and tear issue. Tomorrow morning, in she goes, and all things being equal, I'm getting a new motor in the Triton. You've got to be happy with that. I've just spent blooming 20 grand on the canopy. I've just upgraded the shocks and put a 2-inch lift system in it. Man, the what do you call it?
Crazy.
The SW Platt bull bar. I mean, there's $4,500. Man, I can't change cars. It's going to cost me a fortune. It's cheaper to put a motor in it there. So yeah, long story short, the head of the motor manufacturing fault. So hopefully they'll do it under warranty.
Okay.
So, good to go.
Next question. Why can you install glass windows and caravans only have perspex?
Okay. Well, a couple of things. If you know the way caravans are built, they're basically built out of balsa wood. Like, there's nothing to a caravan. It's like 2x1. It's probably maple or something like that, timber. But they don't even do it perpendicular like you'd expect a normal stud frame to be built. It's actually sideways, so it's only 20 mil thick. And what happens is they then go and cut all the services through to get their wiring in and all that sort of stuff. So there's nothing holding these things together but the cladding, and then it's only lightweight. So effectively what happens with a caravan, it actually twists. Like a car does, a car chassis will twist, and with that twisting action will crack the glass. But with our tiny homes being built from refrigeration panel, the cool room panel, there's no twist. This is like a giant esky, a giant esky on wheels. It's a solid box, doesn't twist, doesn't move. That's why we can go 4-wheel driving across a paddock, getting towed with a tractor, and the home will come out the other end with no hairline cracks in it. It's just a solid box.
Okay.
So hence, because it's not twisting, it won't crack the glass.
Had a question, I think it might be Roz. How do you deal with condensation in tiny homes?
To this date, none of our clients... now, something to do with the bond or the refrigeration panel. I don't know what the logistics of it is, the scientific meaning for it is, and I don't even know why. But what I do know is that our homes being built from a refrigeration panel don't get condensation on the inside. I believe it's a lot to do with the heat transfer and with the 75mm thick solid polystyrene. So what that means, you keep a moderate temperature inside the tiny home. Like, it'll be freezing cold outside, you put a heater on the inside, and then like a car, sometimes it'll just start to condensate. But because you've got the 75mm of polystyrene, there's some sort of something going on that just doesn't condensate. So, so I'm really excited about it. I've actually explained this to a few people in the last week, that we've never had any issues with condensation on the windows or inside the home, like on the panelling itself. So I don't know why, but it just works, you know. So really excited about that.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Have to do some homework.
We'll probably chat with them and see why that is. We also have, cross-flow windows for ventilation.
Yeah.
We have loft windows across for ventilation. We've got fans. And a lot of our clients end up putting in bathroom fans after it's delivered. We don't offer it. We don't do it, but they put it in later. So they put a...
But
into the window itself.
Probably one of the main things is when I design our homes, I work under the same principles of the building LEP for building a stock standard home, like home on concrete slab. So it's all about room size and window opening size. So hence our homes, when you see our homes, the windows standard are proportionate to the size of the actual home itself, which means we've got the right ventilation to suit the size of the actual room itself. So hence all of that allows the cross ventilation and airflow, like Shani was saying. So hence we just don't have that issue with condensation inside the tiny home. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, okay. Do you have any contacts for tiny home land rental in Queensland?
Oh, matter of fact, we've got, we had a lady just in this last week contact me from, I think she went to the expo up in Brisbane. She saw
it's the
some,
ABC.
Oh,
she heard it on the ABC.
Heard it on the ABC radio, yeah. And contacted me saying she's got a property and she's looking for a couple of people to actually rent.
Do you know which
on a
part
farm.
of Queensland?
Yeah, just about an hour and a half west of Brisbane. So if
Okay.
you're keen,
If you're looking
you want
to be out
a
there.
Havenwood tiny home, I can hook you up with accommodation, land rental up in Queensland. Probably up there is around about that $100 to $150 a week rental. So if you're keen, you want a tiny Havenwood tiny home and a spot to rent up in Queensland, give us a call. I can hook you up.
Okay.
Make it happen.
All right. Who are most of your clients?
Oh well, the probably we've got 4 categories of clients now. As you're aware, we've mentioned a few times, the reason we got into the tiny home industry was for affordable housing. And hence our punt, if you like, or our, our speculation of getting into tiny homes for affordable housing. And it's actually that market that's come to fruition, or most of that market, which is the young married couples, which don't want to go and borrow $1 million. They'll put it at the back of mum and dad's place, a tiny home. The single mums is a huge market. Then, of course, we've got the ladies coming out of marriage breakdowns in their 50s and 60s and 70s, don't know where they're going to live, they can't work for the rest of their life, so that's a huge market. And then all of a sudden, then what started to happen then is the investor market, the B&B market, because as you're aware, with all the hoo-ha going on for the last couple of years, the people haven't, the young ones especially, haven't been able to go overseas. So what they're doing, they've actually tapped into the Australian market, but then they've found out about B&Bs. And like, they're just monopolising the B&B market. So you've got all the young ones now that are tapped into the B&B market. And I feel sorry for the oldies that aren't quick on the Google, because the young ones just, they got the tap going, like Google stuff going on, and they just lock it all out. The tiny homes just maxed out all over the eastern seaboard.
Yeah.
Rentals, gone.
So what the feedback we're getting is that people will pay more to stay in a tiny house for the weekend than just in a regular B&B home.
Yep.
It's to do with the I don't know.
Oh, the privacy.
Newness, it's something different.
Privacy, and a lot of these are out in the bush. People are put in a real isolated spot out on their farm, so they've got that massive nude room. Like it's just, I don't know what it is, but people from city, they just want to get outside. They just want to get out in the bush. They just want to rip their gear off, and you've got to be happy with that.
I'm not saying anything. I'm going to keep that right where it is. Okay. Looking at doing B&Bs.
I'll say it, but everyone else is thinking it. You know what I'm saying? But I can get away with it.
Looking at doing B&Bs on my property, why would I do a tiny home in lieu of a granny flat? We sort of
tapped into that. I think our kids sent us away before we sort of got right into the tiny homes up to the Blue Mountains, and we stayed Friday night and a Saturday night in 2 different B&Bs. Those B&Bs were inside someone's house, or a room of their house, and it just wasn't working for us, wasn't it? Like, especially when you hear old mate next door burping and farting and carrying on, it's like, man, it's just
one of them
really
was
not
a
adding to it.
converted garage, and so the wall between the B&B section and his lounge room was just a bit of gyprock. So we could hear the cricket that he was watching and his cup of tea being slurped and all the
So I
things.
thought, oh,
So, of
Rico,
course,
in his element, I thought I'll give him something to listen to. Hey, hey?
not truly listened to. It was just making sounds to make this poor man go to bed, so that
Oh, stop it, Dart. You're already
he did it on purpose. Naughty boy. All right. Can you connect a tiny home to the septic tank?
Yeah, with our clients. Okay, first and foremost, you got to understand, if you connect a tiny home or a caravan to a septic tank or a sewer straight away, from council's definition, then it becomes a fixture straight away. Then you're going to need a DA. Okay, so it's all about the order of events. So you get approval. You might have to do an activity statement to put a caravan, tiny home on your property. Start with the compost toilet. All of our homes come standard with a compost toilet.
Yeah. Make sure that the others do when you're doing your quote checking.
Yeah. Make sure they come standard with
A lot of them
the
don't.
compost toilet,
They
because we
charge
do that
extra.
because we understand that they are going to be classified as caravans.
Mm-hmm.
Then, if you want to connect it to the sewer, you get your tiny house on the property with a compost toilet. Then what you do, you go to council and you can actually put in an application to connect your caravan, tiny home, to the sewer. That way, it's all
you
legal.
do pre-plumbing for sewer,
Yeah.
don't you?
So
Yes.
we find it from our clients first that if they are going to connect it to the sewer in the right order, we'll actually pre-plumb it so it's ready
Ready to go.
in a 4-inch system, ready to connect to the sewer. We'll put a compost toilet basically straight on top of the capped 4-inch line. So then it's a simple exercise of ripping out the compost toilet,
Which
and
could
hooking
go
up.
somewhere else because it's an enclosed space. So
yeah.
you could put it anywhere and use
And then
it.
you just bung your flushable toilet straight on top. We already, as a standard, we always provide a water cock for a flushable toilet into all of our homes. That's just a standard thing that we do. So if you ever want to connect them to the sewer down the track, bung a flushing toilet on.
If it was me, and I had a tiny house out in the bush on a farm, whatever, I'd actually take the compost toilet outside, put it in an outside area on a deck or something, and I'd have more space in my shower area.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
I wouldn't have it
Because-
in there.
Yeah, with our
It's a bucket system, so you can put it anywhere.
Yeah. Although in saying that, because the urine with this
That'd be an easy.
it's easy to
Yeah.
to hook it up outside.
Yes.
So the urine will actually go through the bucket, the solid state in the bucket. So because the urine's gone, which a lot of people don't understand, the ongoing smell will be in the urine, not the poo. The poo will form a crust on it. That's why you throw sawdust on it. It dries out really quick and smell's gone. So it's a great system. Like it just works. You know?
Yes.
A lot of people don't like the thought of handling their poo. Well, you don't have to handle it. You've just got a bucket handle. Like,
And
you
it's
just
got a
take it out.
lid. Like
Yeah.
you put a lid on it and carry it
So
out.
it's
and
all
you stick
good,
it in
man.
there.
Like at the end of the day, it's your poo, so just get over it. Yeah.
Oh, look. We'd love to hear from if any of our past clients are on now and they use the compost system and want to say something and tell
talk
other
to us.
people
Yeah,
how
let
it
us know how it
works.
goes, yeah.
Or would it be happy to be filmed so that we can do a bit of a video?
Not doing
to
a
show-
poo, Dar. I don't think they'd be happy film doing a poo.
That's not what I meant.
Oh.
Talking about how it all works and how happy they are and all the things. Hi, Tara. Okay. Next question. You have tiny home model prices on your website. Is that a complete home?
Yeah. The prices, so you've got our models. It might be a Jackson, it might be a Maverick, it might be a Dawson. Those prices that are quoted on our website is a finished home. It's ready to live in. So if you have access to water on your property, access to electricity, the home is complete. It comes with a sink, all the plumbing's pre-done, light fittings, power points, everything's finished, ready to go. You just got to plug it in. That's it. There's nothing else to spend. Similar to, actually, probably the easiest way to explain it, it's like when you buy a house, right, a fixed house, all you bring with you is your fridge, washing machine and microwave. I work on that same principle with our tiny homes. There's nothing else to spend. So, and the only reason people will spend more than our base model price is because they want to pimp it up. They want the bells and whistles. They want to put in a fireplace and stuff like this. So
and
you don't need to.
All of those things, all of those extras are listed there with the prices. So you can literally go through and tick off and come up with your budget before you even approach us. We have got everything exposed for you to see.
Yeah, which I've actually had.
Tara said, "I love you too." Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
I'm pretty excited. It was a bit of a punt, I guess, that we took that we could put a price and sort of say from, but then there's this extra and this extra and this extra. But I thought, no, I want to be transparent. I want to put the price there so you don't need to spend any more. And this is the feedback we've been getting from our clients is they love the transparency. They love seeing that that's the price. If we want to spend extra, we can. That it's so easy to navigate through our website, and by the time our clients come to us, they know they're going to spend 150, 160, 170 grand because they've done their homework, they've gone through our web page, they've ticked all the boxes that they want, they've racked up the tally sheet to suit their budget. Bob's your uncle. It just works. So it really makes a good flow.
So something
I
that
like
we've talked about a lot, and we're going to be doing soon for our clients, is these video tutorials on how to do all the things. So, for example, we think, changing a gas bottle, everyone knows how to do that. A lot of people don't, and especially the women who are buying something and there's no men to help them out. They need somewhere to reference. Okay, now how did I put the deck down? How did I do it? Rick showed me first, but I don't remember. So we're actually going to film lots of small things, putting jacks down, leveling the home, connecting the downpipes to the water tank, so that if you've got a delivery and then you've got to do the tank later, you can go onto our private, we'll have a private code that you can go into our YouTube channel. There'll be private videos for our clients, and you literally will be able to watch how to do all of those things, how to empty the compost toilet, how to, what to use on that. So if there's something that you think, I need to, especially clients that we've already worked for, if there was something that would have been helpful for you, let us know so that we can add that to the videos. Because, every time we build a tiny house, we get a little bit better. And, thank you to the first people, because as always, you guinea pigs a little bit as we're going along.
We'll practice on it.
We get better each time. And each delivery, there might be little things that happen, but each time we go, okay, that happened this time. There was a delivery and a little bit of flashing, one piece
the top
came
board
off the top. A massive B double truck came past the tiny home and sucked it off, like literally sucked one piece off. We're like, whoa, how does that happen? But of course, fixed straight away, sent up, fixed. Got a local contractor to do the work. So, and now there's extra screws going in the top section to cover that. So, it's like any home though, isn't it, Rick? Like when you build. When you build something as a builder, there's always something. For anybody, you go into any home, there's always something, some little thing, and we on it, we fix it, we do it. So
we do pride ourselves on the aftermarket service, and 9 times out of 10, most of the stuff can be fixed via telephone. It might be and a real simple one at the moment is the PVC fittings underneath the sink. Because it's cold and it's winter, when the plumbers screw the PVC fittings up underneath the sink, they can only screw it so tight because if they screw it any harder, it'll actually thread the PVC because the rubber's hard. So what happens then, it gets to site and people pour the hot water down it when they're washing up and stuff. The rubber softens. And then it makes it breaks the seal in the joint underneath. At the end of the day, it's just simply get 2 hands and tighten it up by hand tight. That's all it needs. But we can't do that straight away. Otherwise, it'll just
remember,
thread the
it is
thing.
moving, and lots of times it's moving hundreds, if not thousands, of kilometres. So when it gets there, we need to have a bit of a manual for you, which we haven't done, and we need to let you know, to sort of go, okay, when you get into your home, make sure you check those seals on the sink, and all these little things, because it has travel. When you move into a normal house, you don't have to worry about it, but it's a movable home, so each time you move it, you've got to check those things again. Leslie asked, do you have to anchor the tiny house in the ground? Depending where you are, absolutely.
Well, with our all of our tiny homes, they all come with a welded hold down lug underneath the actual frame of the tiny home. So if you're in a high wind area, and we've just come across now, we've done a lot of homework and found an earth anchor that effectively...
and again, we
Yeah.
learned from you guys.
Mm.
One of our clients
Yep.
told us about this
Earth anchor.
earth anchor that you can actually buy, so you don't need to concrete anything.
Yeah, we were advising people to do like an auger hole with concrete and rah, but that's tradies and
Yeah.
that's there's a couple of grand.
Yeah.
But with these earth anchors, they're effectively driven in the ground. They work on the same principle as an anchor on a boat in the ocean. So and they've got a 3-ton lift capacity on
So
each
are we
anchor.
going to have them?
We're going to put them up on our optional extra list.
So are we going to deliver them with the tiny house? Is
Yeah,
that-
well, a lot of the
How's the weight on
guys
those?
to actually get full certification, it's got to be installed by the actual provider.
Okay.
However, obviously, if you install it yourself or we install it, we'll install it to the manufacturer's instructions, but
Yeah.
you won't get that
a warranty.
on the
Right.
uplift. If a cyclone comes through and you get 12 tons of lift from a 180k wind.
They're not
comes
going to
through.
warranty
They're
it.
not going to warranty
And
it.
neither will we.
Yeah, but in saying that, it's yes, we do have anchors to actually be able to anchor the tiny home into the ground, but we already provide those hold down lugs on our tiny homes.
Yes,
so
they're already in there.
already
Standard.
comes
You don't
standard on
have-
our
yeah.
tiny homes. Yeah.
So what Rick's saying, Leslie, about that is it's a lug on the frame of the house, and then you would anchor that to something that is either concreted in the ground or these big
Well, they're not even big; they're just driving in
What
the
are they
ground. Earth anchors.
earth anchors
Yeah.
that we've just heard from Dan about, which is terrific. And,
Yeah.
and we're learning all the time about
Yep.
new things that we can offer you. So
Yep, for sure.
as we learn, we'll tell you. So
Yep.
that's it. We're about to lose the daylight here. So I hope you've all been well and have had a great week, and all the best for this week coming. Please send us any comments or questions afterwards, and we can add them into next week's chat. And we'll see you then.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Hooroo.
Bye.